Captain's Draft 3.0. My name is Suns Fan, joined by Zyuri and Purge. This is a qualifier stage series between DC and Stark, and I see two non-CM heroes named Ricky and Arc Warden. How's it going, guys?
He's gonna get banned for sure, right? Like he's not gonna make it.
Pretty much saying nobody on my team plays it, so they're banning. Yeah, so we're trying out people. So I guess the first thing is, from an organization standpoint, you don't really have control of who gets on the team. So I guess, but very often I would that. But as far as right now, Mason stand-in, he is trying out. Nobody's been kicked at all. The open tryout period, and then Qualifier standing in because Yawar just didn't wake up. Apparently, I don't know what that's all about.
Okay.
No, 0% chance. Calling it.
Yeah, but maybe Qualifier plays it.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that. Maybe one of the stand-ins plays it. Either way. Oh, hey guys, Centaur's in there. Eh? I know Trixie plays a mean Centaur. Yeah. Yeah, we do like, well, OD and Death Prophet. But that's Yawar. I mean, Koikva is a mid player too, so I guess you would think it's the same.
Like he's been on leaderboards for like a whole year here. There it is.
Yeah, he's. I can't remember his MMR, but it's quite high, right?
It's like top 25 of EU consistently. I think it's even top 10 if I'm not
What
mistaken.
a nerd.
Still a good player.
All right, are there any? Let's see. Wraith King's gonna get. Oh, I didn't even notice Lone Druid's there too. Maybe you guys mentioned it. Lone Druid, Death Prophet, OD. The top 3 picks right now, I think.
Ursa's been pretty popular recently, but usually because of enchant. So there's a chance that we'll see her or see him in the game, but not super likely.
Radiant team ban.
Okay.
Not a huge amount of supports actually. We're looking at like Lion, Dazzle, Shadow Demon, maybe Leshrac.
Ooh, I'd like to see Leshrac.
Yeah, I would love to see Lesh. Phoenix, maybe. Elder Titan. That's about it.
He can do it. I know it. I think he's probably the worst hero in the game, right? Yeah,
which hero?
Of course.
I'm
gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say no, only for the fact that that Techies has a very different playstyle that no other hero can match. Not saying it's good, but Ricky is already covered by like so many other heroes. He does better single target damage with better disables, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Alright, normally I'd say OD is definitely the pick. See, I guess I can agree with that. You can say that about Techies versus a lot of heroes though. Like he fills a niche that just nothing else can close to. But overall, game. Who's worse than Techies? We had this conversation not long ago.
Ricky.
There's no way. Ricky can be pretty good. I don't know how good he is, but can be pretty. He's a good Meepo counter, eh?
Night Stalker, World Devourer.
Dire team pick.
Razor.
Yeah. All right.
Dire team pick.
So Stark going for a little bit more flexible on the pushing side of things. DC,
Radiant
not so much.
Pick.
Typical.
Yeah,
I would love to see a Lesh SD. Let's do it.
That would work. I don't know if I like it versus Razor. I like SD versus Line though. I think that's very good. I think it can
You're the
work.
SD Master Purge.
At my MMR bracket.
What
like
a hero.
Against better people, then it's like my SD is stuff. But I still think SD is pretty good. I don't know if it works amazing versus Razor because it oftentimes. You okay? You okay over there?
Radiant
All right. The
team
only
Oh,
reason they
God.
did that.
remaining.
The
Typing
only
in
reason.
Skype.
The only
Oh,
reason
my
they did that
lord.
is because they
Dire
want to
team
raise,
pick.
and this is clearly the best way to do it.
Oh man, is that a Sam
Legion
Centaur?
Commander.
Could it be? I think so.
Dire team pick.
Although I have been telling
I
them
like
to run
the
it as a
Legion pick.
1. Listen to me.
I
Go with
don't
it.
think that's a good idea,
I know
especially
you
against
don't.
a Razor. There's no way that would scale
Alright.
well. Razor would peak against you way better. Legion's a really good pick against Weaver, so he's definitely gonna have to get something
10
like a Lincoln's
seconds
here.
remaining.
It's kind of a weird Weaver game actually. Not very good against line either. It's good against Razor though.
5 seconds
so
remaining.
Alright, Shadow Demon's the pick for the 100%. Has
Very
to be.
clearly against Legion Commander. Yeah, I completely.
Amazing against Legion.
team
It's
pick.
great as a
5
dual lane with
seconds
Centaur.
remaining.
That way you don't have to have him as off lane completely, because I think he's pretty trash. Solo off lane, there it is. Excellent.
Pretty good against Lifestealer too.
Yeah, that's true.
Stark has a pretty good combo though. They can put Lifestealer into Legion and gank with that line, and once he gets a Blink Dagger, can also be very aggressive. The early game's also decent. So offlane Legion, carry Lifestealer, mid Razor, I guess. Razor versus OD. It's not terrible right now like it used to be for OD. Good work.
Alright, so who plays a support? I actually have no idea who plays Shadow Demon. Have not seen them play it. I assume it's going to be Theban. AUI likes to run around a bit more, so probably the nice slot. Interesting lineups, for sure. I'm actually a little bit surprised that Wraith King was ignored. Not so much Phoenix. But yeah, Wraith King and Ursa. Probably the best 2 remaining. Unless you have a Meepo player, then
10
that's me,
seconds
but I
remaining.
think either team plays Meepo.
Yeah, actually would have been a pretty good.
5 seconds remaining.
Not amazing versus Legion, I guess, but and some of those other heroes, I think it's okay.
Alright, Centaur. Do it!
Alright, tell us everything you know about Centaur.
Alright, Centaur has 4 abilities. One is named Hoof Stomp, Double Edge, Return, Stampede. Stampede is excellent at both getaway and initiation sequences. It is also amazing with Aghanim Scepter because it mitigates 60% damage. And you can go over cliffs, walking, whatever. Great hero, great item. It's all
Very
about
good
the laning
against
stage.
Lifestealer, because Lifestealer only has a slow. Very good against Hex online, so really the only way they have to stop Stampede is Earth Spike and Duel, and that's it. So that could be really useful in this game.
Yeah, so I'm only worried about his laning stage right now. AUI is going to the same area as him, so I'm hoping it's going to be a dual lane. And I say hoping because I want Centaur to... Stark had picked it because Trick picker. I might be rooting for them. Centaur's the best hero in the game. This is the
Believe that.
beginning, guys.
30 seconds.
Beginning of
to
Centaur
battle.
meta. Gonna come back. Can you tell me, Purge, why, in your opinion, you think not picked? Because the only thing I can think of is just laning stage.
No, it's basically because other offlaners can do stuff without needing a Blink Dagger. Example, Tusk. Much better offlaner. Can gank
Yeah.
when he's level 2. Can
Yeah,
Centaur
but
do
he's
that?
more
Nope.
often the 4 these days.
Yeah, but there's other offlane heroes
The
that are just
battle
easier to
begins.
offlane, and Centaur doesn't even match up very well with too many heroes, except for like maybe a Baden or something. And even then, it's still a little scary. Like people have to get in melee.
All right. It's a pub classic, but it'll be hard to get Lifestealer.
And
You'll have
the
to be
next
lying.
issue is that then you're lacking Shadow Poison skills. Well, he is going to go for Shadow Poison spam in the laning stage. It's the best way to harass your opponent.
You would know
Probably
best,
why.
Purge gamers.
I mean, this is why he got the Mango as well. That way, if he really needs a lot more mana, he can. But it comes down to outplay. There's a chance that the Lifestealer will just rage and counteract the damage.
Meanwhile, it's actually an interesting mid lane. We have Razor versus Weaver. I mean, Razor's pretty much one of the best mid laners in the game, but Koifa can get away easily with that Shikuchi, so the static link won't really apply for very long. I think that was a good choice, because Razor's would you call it a counter to OD mid? At least the old OD?
It used to be, yes, but with the new way that OD works, it's not quite the same, because you're not spamming the
Astral.
banish on him
Yeah,
as
that's
often.
true. I think that is one of... It's a pretty bad skill in comparison to the rest. I think it's a one skill... A 1.1er, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, I would
And honestly, I think you get stats. a lot of cases, but it
I
depends
know
on the
the
game.
lower cooldown is going to be really beneficial in a lot of cases. 'Cause it is a disruption, you know. They've got 2 disruptions on their team now.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it doesn't like super synergize like it used to. Skills. Aghanim Scepter makes no sense. Oh,
'Cause it doesn't
it banishes
give them,
everybody,
right?
but the damage doesn't apply to everybody, right? It's just 1 damage instance on each instead of applying to everybody, which would be pretty ridiculous cases, but...
Yeah, actually, I got the ulti refresher in an overthrow game last night. I think the second one just didn't hit us while we were banished. You had to like recast it.
Yeah, I think I'm actually trying to think. It might be the. It's got to be top 5 worst ags in the game now. I think it's gonna get tweaked next big update for sure.
I don't think so. If OD is still strong and he's still decently strong, then you won't need that additional change. I don't think. Maybe it's a good way because it's like a sideways change that nobody actually buys. But
Qualifier, it's quite a bit of damage taken by Boogie in the mid lane, and looking at the very early season. Up with actually Boba second place here on that beautiful centaur who gets disrupted defensively by AUI. He goes for the patented Suns fan centaur skill build.
All right,
Let's
and
see.
what is that? Can you give us the
It's
lowdown?
very standard.
Layman's.
1-3-1. Although and
3-1.
technically you could do 2-3-0.
I don't think the return's worth it here. He's just not getting harassed enough.
Decent against Lion. I don't know. It's not that great though. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, I wouldn't get it in this lane. If you're in a duel lane, you have kill power. You don't get return. Definitely not.
Yeah,
That 75 damage can make the difference sometimes.
especially with this setup. Like, you can see how careful Valix is being. He
But
knows
I'm
if he gets caught with a
actually-
disruption, it could be scary.
Are you a little surprised? Like you talked
With
about
an
the shadow
extended by
poison being
AUI.
really good. What's that?
He almost disrupted the pull. He
Oh.
needed to break it. Nicely tried, nice try.
Are you surprised there's no... I'm guessing he's going to go next, but Soul Catcher. That, when I think of the old Shadow Demon Centaur
Completely.
combo, it's mainly the Soul Catcher from Disruption.
It's too cheesy and it limits you too much towards that lane. If the laning stage doesn't work out, it's really bad because you need Shadow Poison to scale a little bit. If there's ever downtime and you have Shadow Poison, you can just go jungle very easily. You stack a camp and you kill it in
True.
5 stacks.
I
That's
mean,
250
AUI
mana and you get 2 stacks.
He loves to farm.
That's a good point.
It's for him.
It's also
in
not
general.
good against Lifestealer. Even if you
Yeah,
set it up,
exactly.
he can still rage. So
Right,
you're-
it's all about the
Well,
lion kill.
no, the poison is bad for that. Soul Catcher can't be removed from Magic Community anymore. So you can't
Oh,
remove it
really?
with Rage.
Well,
Yes.
it's
So
more-
Soul Catcher's better against Lifestealer.
okay.
More when you do that
I
combo,
know.
he can
Oh, yeah,
rage
sure.
out of the
Good point.
disruption, right?
Exactly.
get the hoof
so you
stomp
can't
off.
get the hoof stomp off. The Soul Catcher will go through though.
Okay, that's a cool mechanic.
But he's
That's
gonna get Soul
nice
Catcher
little
level
buff.
4. There's no way. I mean, disruption scales horribly in the early game. Bulba,
Yeah.
Balloons applied. Disruption's still there. Holding on to it. Maybe they want to try to turn this. Gonna get disrupted finally.
I don't know.
Gonna live. We waited so long for that.
Well, basically because if you would have disrupted as the line stun hit, then the line stun already hit. So all they're doing is removing stun duration, which isn't that good. At that point, it became better to wait for Lifestealer and then disrupt Lifestealer, but then Lifestealer rage. And at that point, that's when you finally disrupt the Centaur, because then when the disruption ends, rage is going to be gone, and you can finally hoof stomp and defend yourself. So it's like this weird, complicated like series of things that makes Shadow Demon kind of hard to play.
Oikpa mid lane, 12 and 4 versus the Razor, 26 and 17. He is getting ripped.
Yeah, it's
Razor
really
is
tough.
absolutely dumb.
I think one of the mistakes that Quake perhaps made here was that he went for Wraithband first rather than a bottle first. The Wraithband obviously gives you good last hitting potential, but if your opponent static links you, then your Wraithband doesn't do anything, you know? If you get a bottle, at least then you can use Sakuchi whenever to get last hits for every time it's off cooldown, and I feel like that would have helped him more in terms of last hitting than the Wraithband did. But maybe I'm wrong there, I'm not entirely sure.
It's a good
Well,
thought,
overall-
though. The Razor just outlanes him.
Mason, Astral imprisoning in the bot lane. Trixie, but Trixie doesn't really care too much. I mean, it's only level 1 Astral. What does it deal? Like 75 damage? Yeah, 75 damage. I mean, I guess the main benefit of it is just 4-second.
What's the last hitting?
Oh, top rune. Koisha is not going to get rune. He will.
Oh, he's
Initiate
gonna get
upon
caught.
Bulba with the hooks. This is a lot of people here to try to get the Razor. I don't even think get it. This is basically the entire team.
My God.
PC. AUI forced to disrupt. Gonna attempt to get the hell out of here, and he's gonna reinitiate. 1437 not able to get off the perfect void. Razor
Oh, they wanted different
getting the kill.
targets.
That's a double kill, in fact. 1437 on the run.
Can't believe how tanky this Razor is, man. He survived through all that, turned it around, gets a double kill and the first blood to boot. This mid lane is now just a disaster for the Weaver.
domination.
That was the bit of a vision issue. The Dire team knew where the Radiant team was, but they didn't know where they were. So when AUI got that close to the Razor, he realized he had to disrupt to defend himself. But then he got himself committed to a fight, and the rest of his team showed up to try to finally finish him off. But he was able to tank through that. He had a wand as well, so he tanks through that, and they didn't quite have enough damage.
On top of that, it's insane space creation. Bulba was the one that rotated, so that whole time Lifestealer is just free farming in the safe lane. The Lion's pulling. Nymphy's now leading last hits by a good margin as well. So pretty costly for DC.
Damage is just not very good. If they had a different hero than Weaver mid, they would have been fine. Like, think of Alina being in that fight. He just would have died right at the start. But Weaver just doesn't have that kind of burst damage, and he also didn't go for the Swarm due to being in the laning stage. So I think that's maybe a mistake. He should have 1 point in the Swarm, at the very least, to reduce some armor. That would have done a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, despite having this quote-unquote good spell against the static link, Boogie seems to be getting a decent amount of damage consistently. And he can use that to just outlast hit the Weaver pretty much consistently. His bottom lane, Trixie, disrupted. He's gonna take a couple arcane orbs on top of this, and he'll be dead. Although he's gonna get healed. Grave is there as well. Definitely no mana, but has the mangoes. Should be enough to get the kill at some point, you would think.
Mason times it perfect.
That was nice. And Shadow Demon's pretty good against Dazzle as well. You can stack Shadow Poisons on the person while they're being graved, and then as soon as that ends, you can trigger it to try to get a kill. That's
why is Shadow Demon not picked very often? I feel like it's
just better heroes that do similar things. In the last patch, Bane was far better because Bane had a 1-second disruption basically with Nightmare, and he could set up more in the early game, and he was faster, and he had better base damage, just in a lot of ways, and he scaled better for solo killing with Fiend's Grip. So whereas Shadow Demon is decent with his ultimate, but it's not the same as a Fiend's Grip, obviously, right? Yeah. So it's just Bane in almost all ways was better than Shadow Demon in the last patch, which is the reason SD just wasn't picked. So SD's okay right now, but there's just better heroes that have stuns and things like that. So SD's gonna have to get buffed more, but I feel like it's dangerous mode. I think he's already pretty good.
Yeah,
it's just almost all heroes do one thing better than him. So depending on what you want, you'll pick those heroes over SD.
And when I think of SD, a lot of times, other than these like cheesy combos, it's a great counter to somebody like Batrider, who's super popular. But there's also other heroes, like you said, that can do even better, like a Vengeful Spirit or whoever else you want to. Even a Aphotic Shield from
exactly. Venge is a perfect example. He can swap. That's almost always better than Disruption. It covers a similar base. Like Disruption is good against Yule's combos like Invoker, but why not pick Venge over that? It makes more sense to do that. They did spot the smoke out, by the way.
One of the things that's kind of cool about Shadow Demon is his ult, if you can get the Ags, is one of the few things in the game that applies break. There's very few mechanics that actually do that, like Doom with an upgraded Ags is one, and of course the Silver Edge, but it's just so hard for him to get it. It's not reliable enough, even though the upgrade is incredible.
Ooh, Lion pops a smoke of his own. AUI's not quite in range.
He's going to try to kill Bulba here, I think.
He has Finger of Death. He can actually
do it.
Not able to get in range, though.
That was completely worth it for DC there, considering they had already used their smoke. They chose not to get a kill from it. So they basically traded a smoke for a definite potential kill there on the Centaur.
The levels are out of control for Dark. I mean, this dude level 5 on Shadow Demon, Boba level 5 as well, versus the Lifestealer who's level 7, the Lion level 6. I mean, support Lion who has Finger at the 10-minute mark, not too shabby at all. And even Dazzle's the same.
This will do
not even close in the level department whatsoever.
It's a safe tri lane advantage. They did get one kill out of the lane. Well, it was that double kill in the mid lane. Just have to pull the creep right past her, and they can do that with Shadow Poison.
And the wave is there to greet them. But either way, a lot of damage is going to be done to this tier 1. The AOI at a very safe distance with that Shadow Poison, as said.
Weaver's catching up a bit more. 40 less hits to the 60 of the Razor. It's not terrible.
Yeah. Nice little lead here for Stark, about 4 or 2k net worth and experience. Midas now for the Lifestealer, so they're just gonna get further ahead here. Both the Razor and Lifestealer are really in good shape.
Good news, those guys. Sam went patented Sunspan build. It's all good.
He did, actually.
Yep, the old 131.
He got the point in return.
And interesting, he went Quelling Blade. Huh. I guess because he's forced to jungle and needs as much damage as possible for those creeps.
It really does increase the damage that you do to creeps by a maximum of 40% damage increase. Like if you're a Centaur and you do AoE damage, which he does, if you put that Quelling Blade on top of it, it means you're going to kill those large creeps faster, save more HP, kill them more rapidly.
Get Iron Talon, or is that too much?
It's not a bad idea, but it's kind of expensive. If you're buying Tranquils and a Wand and an Iron Talon, you're delaying your blink by like at least 1,000 gold kind of a thing. Yeah. So for Centaur, I think it might just be a little too expensive to go all the way into that, and the 2 armor isn't going to make a difference, I think. not that terrible. Like, he maybe could have gone for that option, especially if he was solo. If he didn't have a dual lane, I would have said Iron Talon. But because he had a dual lane and he had a little bit of give from his lane, then he can be a little bit less greedy.
When you compare the off lanes, Bubble level 6 with about
Dire's
1,000 gold,
bottom tower is under attack.
level 8 with about the same amount, have phase boosts right now, both of which are for Blink Daggers. So it's all about who gets that first, although I would think Centaur's a little bit better of initiator than Legion Commander.
Radiant's middle tower
More
is under
flexible, you can
attack.
always go in, as opposed to Legion, who might want to wait sometimes to get that guaranteed dual damage off, but either way, Smoke is popped, bottom lane. Boogie with the haste activated is going to go back to his lane. And they might run into Mason here on the OD, who looks to be going, well, he got a casual headdress, probably going for the Rod of Atos.
Yeah, for sure. Needs some survivability. His damage is pretty good right now. If he gets Atos, he'll be a lot better off. But
Oh boy, they're
they
going to run
don't
into
have
an
the link
onslaught here.
on Legion. Oh, this is
They
really
might not
bad for
need
them.
it, although Astral is there just in case. 1437.
Oh, okay.
And they get Earth Spiked and Astral. Very nicely done defensively by Mason. And we do have TP support, and that's 4 here for DC versus the 4 of Stark, and it looks like they just want to get the hell out.
Oh,
See,
they
you're
spotted
hungry.
Trixie.
They do
I
have
think-
Swarm and
oh, he's
another
so fast.
Shikuchi. Perhaps catch up.
I think they got
Oh,
him.
he actually stops to use his overwhelming odds.
No,
Not gonna
it's
matter.
it's just
You
enough
need
movement speed. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
that's
ask for
true.
the movement speed.
Radiant's middle
Smart
tower
choice there.
is
With
under
phase,
attack.
he's way too fast there. Really helping out there. Phase is a nice option that you can get if you think your Blink Daggers can be a little delayed, because just that little bit of a gap closer can make the difference in whether
What
or not
is
you get
this
catch them.
headpiece for Lion? Good God.
Oh
Like a
my
freaking,
goodness.
it's just like a rock on his face.
It's actually atrocious. That is one of
It's a
the.
scope.
That is, I would
was that
not
for?
classify that as a skull. I mean, it is, but
I
whatever.
can't
saw a
believe
line
that's
in
in the
Buffalo's
game,
Blink.
dude. That is wild.
Dire's middle tower
I'm
is
gonna-
under attack.
I'm gonna try to ignore that.
Yo, it's not as bad as that Invoker mask. It makes you look like
Oh,
a
that-
circus performer.
Okay, I will agree with that.
Dire's
Wait,
I
which
don't-
one?
I hate
We have
that
one that
item.
makes.
under attack.
It might be the DC
I
one.
think it's yours, yeah.
No, I think you're talking about the Chinese. Well, okay, there's a Chinese version that's. But I like the mask.
Oh, God.
I mean, Invoker's the type of guy that would
Gross,
attend the
dude.
masquerade. Is he not? Like you have to
And
concede that.
it's true.
fact.
Blood Elves can dance.
Yeah,
He dances
exactly.
every time he throws a Trado. You're so right, dude.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Oh,
attack.
Mason getting close to that Rod of Atos, just needs another Staff of Wizardry. Boogie. The Arcane Rune. And looking about bot with a perhaps push on this tier 1. AUI's here defensively, though.
I'm not even sure if I like Rod of Atos that much this game. It's not good versus Lifestealer because he can rage it. It's good against the supports, but once Legion gets his ulti off, like, it's wasteful, kind of. And it's not very good versus Razor as well, due to you getting slowed every time you use it. They are really lacking disables this game. That's clearly the thing DC is missing. They obviously have Disruption, they have Shadow Demon ulti, they've got the Hoof Stomp, but if they don't have those setups, or if they've already used them, they're really lacking disables. And Rod of Atos completely changes how strong your lineup is. You notice that and purchase one.
Yeah. Trixie and Bulba are both getting pretty damn close to their Blink Daggers. And I actually completely forgot about the press the attack being able to take off Shadow Poison. That's very nice. You can
Yeah.
do that to him or his
It's huge.
teammates.
Makes the game a lot harder to play for Shadow Demon. Same thing for Lifestealer. He can just enrage it when he feels like he doesn't want to deal with it anymore.
1437 top lane can TP out if he wants to, but can avoid and walk away.
Man, he's
Bulba
got
waiting in the
Bulba
back
there.
wing.
Bulba was really close to his Blink Dagger. He's just gonna play it safe.
He needs it.
He really does. Then finally DC can start to move around and try and regain some momentum. Stark's getting a lot of space to farm, but actually not pulling ahead. This is
Yeah.
stalled out a little bit. I'm surprised.
DC is getting more out of this than
Yeah.
because I feel Stark had the early advantage here. So as long as DC plays passive, gets some big items up, like Blink on
Dire's
Centaur,
bottom tower
let
is
the
under
Atos
attack.
finish on OD. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really thought that they were going to punch the OD a lot more, kill the OD, but I think Mason moved away from the safe lane at smart times.
They could definitely strike when this Lifestealer is still not online. I mean, he just has Drum, Phase, and Midas right now. It's a great start, but he's definitely not in fighting shape.
Qualifier gets an invisibility rune. Smoke is used by Stark. They want to show off this Blink Dagger. Perhaps the surprise of DC, although they should know
Dire's
he's getting
bottom
somewhat
tower
close.
is under
And
attack.
Bulba is so dangerously close. Oh, and 50 gold away. Might just go to one more neutral camp and finish that bad boy off, but he'd be in a lot of trouble if Trixie finds him with Blink Dagger. So 1337, team by the tier 1. Open wounds up, he's gonna pop his ult, and here comes the duel. That'd be the first instant damage for Trixie. 10 goes your way.
Nicely done by them. Good kill to pick up. And they should be able to get a tower as well. But again, the
Radiant's
important thing
bottom
is the
tower
blink dagger's
is under
coming for
attack.
DC. Quick,
There it
on
is.
K2.
All right.
Koika has
Radiant's
bounced back a
structures
bit
are
after. I mean, I say bounce back. He's
Radiant's
obviously
top tower is
still
under
struggling
attack.
against the Razor, technically speaking, but he was way behind.
Yeah. There's the Atos as well. So they have to sacrifice this tier 1 tower up top. Not a big deal. I expected it'll
top
fall.
tower
17
has
minutes is
fallen.
pretty late for that tower to die, honestly.
Yeah, relatively. Atos is up on the OD, Armlet's up on the Lifestealer. Stark can't
Radiant's
fight
top
if they group up
tower is under
and go for
attack.
the Infest Bomb. But there's some mana problems on Trixie, actually. He's got duel, but that's about it.
Here we go. TP coming into the mid lane. Nymphy in the front lines. He has the armlet back at home to go with the courier before it gets completed.
AUI has a TP available if they're
Do
if they end up diving that mid lane, but doesn't look like to be the case. Trixie in the meantime, for the solo kill perhaps. What did he get? He's gonna run right into AUI. Self-disruptive.
Dire's
can't
bottom
solve
tower
reinforcement.
is under attack.
The survivability on the Shadow Demon is just a bit too high, and you can always disrupt after in Shadow Poison and prevent the blink, so...
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, Mason showing off that Rod of Atos, which immediately gets countered by the Rage, Life Stealer. But I mean, a lot of
It's
the
not bad.
idea behind getting Rod of Atos is, I mean, sure, you force out the Rage there, but also just the stats it gives is very helpful for some.
Radiant's bottom
Somebody like
tower
OD.
That's great,
is
and
under
he'll slam
attack.
again here. And he forces another Rage, and now he's got 95 mana, which means he can't actually fight for this tower.
Radiant's bottom tower
He's gonna have
That's
maximum
true.
like 2 spells. Open Wounds, maybe 1 Rage, no Infest.
DC looking for a trade of sorts. They give a bottom tower, but they're going to get the much needed
duel.
mid in all likelihood. But Trixie is here with the Blink Dagger. And the tower will be defended at least for now.
He's got to be scared, because if the duel comes, then the fight's kind of over. It allows them to initiate, they don't... They
Radiant's
have to
bottom
disrupt,
tower
basically, it's the
is
only
under
solution.
attack.
Instead, they shift to the top lane. Pretty
Dire's
smart,
top
actually,
tower
because they know
is
that
under
Stark was
attack.
rotating from mid, or bottom to mid, and now they're going to force him to rotate from mid to top. They should have an advantage here in taking the tower. That was really smart. They
Well, Stark's
might
just going to take
lose
the mid tower
theirs,
for
so-
themselves, though. That's true.
Yeah, well, they can maybe go back and defend it now, because they didn't
Dire's
TP, they
top
set up for
tower
mid,
has
or for...
fallen.
They walked to mid to
Radiant
fight. So if they can go
structures
back
are
mid,
fortified.
alright, they're trading it.
That's essentially 2 tier 1 towers.
Radiant's middle
So definitely
tower is
start
under
getting the
attack.
upper hand there.
Radiant's middle tower
Yeah,
has
I think
fallen.
so. But considering DC's position, I don't think it's terrible. I think they are losing this, and they are more likely to lose the team fight.
Koikpa going for the Lincoln Sphere on the
Radiant's middle
Weaver. Not a
tower
huge
is under
surprise, although
attack.
you are going against the Lion, who has a mana drain, which is one of the skills for... As we're finally getting to see the combination. Oh my goodness. About to scream for double edge, but the void was enough, unfortunately. So you guys can save your ears, I suppose. As we're gonna have a counter initiation yet again. Smoke popped by DC. Darkness on top of that.
Oh,
And
they
they're
got
looking
him.
for more. They're gonna silence up the life stealer. He
Oh,
gets
they ripped it.
attacked all over the place, and Nymphy
Dire's top
trying to get the duel up with a nice save the duel damage. Bulba will run away to safety. So Lion is the only casualty in this engagement. His Boogie's can take a ton of damage into a
Oh, double edge.
stop and double edge. Sam will die for his troubles, but he gets helps get 2 kills in the process. And this might be a tier 2 tower, perhaps.
Dire's top tower
Yeah,
is
that
under
was,
at
that
least
was a
some
really
damage.
good fight there, man. Disrupt absolutely saved that fight. I thought the Centaur was clearly dead there due to the duel catching him as he ultied, but it kept him alive, and he was able to get that hoof stomp that caught 2 very important heroes afterwards. So, the power of disruption, man. That's why Shadow Demon is good. If you can turn fights like that.
Yeah, fights like that
Dire's
make
top
you really
tower
just
has
appreciate the
fallen.
Centaur, how tanky he is, and that stun at the end was so manly with the double edge. Sets up
Yeah.
the kills, but pays with his own life. One for all for one.
Love it.
Musketeers, I'm pretty sure, but
It is the Musketeers, but I think Centaur's a Musketeer at heart. Just be real.
he's all 3 Musketeers. He's a beast.
And AY is going for the Eggs Rush on Shadow Demon.
Oh
It's the build,
my
very similar
God.
build to what I've done in the past.
Nice.
I'll usually go Tranquil Soul Ring, but the Arcane is a lot better now, just because it translates into things like Villains is very good on Shadow Demon. So I think this build is a little bit safer to do, and one of the reasons he's got this Mango, because he's just been holding it all game to regen. So kind of a cool way to play the hero. But the fast Eggs, once he has it, it basically allows him to ultra kite the lifestealer and prevent the lifestealer from actually doing damage to people, because it goes through BKB. So even if it gets removed, I don't even think you can remove it with press the attack.
I don't think so.
He's just going to constantly be sitting outside the fight and wishing that he could fight. So Egg Shadow Demon's going to be really good. Also, you can...
Oh,
Oh, sorry. I
Alright,
missed it.
Bulba
Go.
gets blown up as Nymphy's kind of stuck in the trees, but no harm done. other
His
than
timing for
Actually
Alley is
stuck for 30
incredible, though.
seconds. This is really bad. They're gonna have to cover him.
And he doesn't have a Quelling Blade or anything of that sort.
Also, the Shadow Demon Eggs, it removes the passives. So it's going to remove Feast on Lifestealer, the Trading
Unstable
of Hits,
Current.
Moment of Courage for Legion, and Unstable Current on Razor, yeah.
Wow.
When you,
A lot
use,
of passives.
when you use it on the Unstable Current, you still take that first.
Yeah,
purge,
you should,
right?
but it'll remove it, the possibility afterwards. so he's
AY
gonna
is in a
die.
lot of trouble. He's going to take a duel, and in all likelihood will give extra damage.
Yep.
Enough.
The Moment of Courage is pretty nice as well. It gives LC some decent survivability.
The Ags give 3 Sonic
Yep.
Purges, right? So just use it back to back to back on the life. Nice.
Yeah.
They're going to get the tier 1 tower mid, and Stampede is
Great
used
Stampede.
effectively.
Dire's
Astral
bottom tower is under
Mint.
attack.
Slide to the Razor.
They're gonna fight,
Actually,
okay.
they want to go. Play this. Thought they'd be happy with a tier 1 mid, but
It's a little too hard. When you use Atos on him, it lowers your attack speed as well as your movement speed, so you can't just deal tons of damage afterwards. And the Atos doesn't even seem that strong. They're actually still running very fast after they use it.
even 1437 is getting pretty good farm as the 5. And this Iron Talon kind of serves as like a poor man's Midas in a lot of ways, especially if you spend a lot of time in the
Dire's
jungle.
bottom tower is under
Yeah.
So
attack.
it's not going to be a super late Ags for a position 5 Night Stalker.
Yeah, it's not going to be too bad.
I mean, just compare the supports. That Dazzle is the obvious outlier there. He's got 500 gold, brown boots, and a wand. He is broke.
And he hasn't
Broke as
even
a
fed or
joke.
anything like that, but that's what happens when you're sitting behind allies, waiting for those ganks to happen. You can actually farm decently on Dazzle, but you need a mana regen item to be able to do that. You just have to push the waves, basically similar to what AOI was doing before. Push waves with Shadow Wave, get those last hits and some experience, and then transition to some small items.
Yep.
Nempty on this lifesteal. I believe that's a BKB he got, isn't it?
Might be a Deso.
Oh, I
thought it was a
Deso, sorry.
Deso, yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. The Desolator
is the
picked up by
Deso.
him. He's going to be dealing a ton of damage. Boogie with Y and Hyperstone. All likelihood will be an Assault Cuirass relatively shortly for him.
I like this
Even
way
a
to play
Blink on Lion.
Lifestealer.
Yeah, me too.
Got a lot of attack speed, really big damage now.
And there's a lot of heroes on DC that naturally have really high armor, but aren't planning to buy more armor items, so the Deso is going to completely counter them, and that basically means Centaur, the OD, as well as the Night Stalker. All 3 of those heroes are going to have trouble. There's a
Yeah.
Blink.
Mid lane Blink initiation, nice disruption.
Ooh,
Stampede
bit of
is
a
used a
waste.
little bit early, but the Stalker's getting out okay. Pops Darkness just in case. Boogie does have haste enabled, but obviously no slow speak of, so to back up. That is a forced darkness during the daytime. Although I'm not sure how long until the next nighttime. I don't even have that. I don't have the times memorized, Purge, do you?
What, Darkness?
No, like when the actual nighttime will come. Mason, in the meantime, nice initiation by Bulba, counter initiation. Stay.
Okay.
Vanity's blow up
Just hit
the
him.
line, and Trixie has no mana as a result. Cannot even cast Duel at the current point. Slowed a bit, but in turn Mason will be as well, and he's trying to TP out. The last right click
Wow.
will not be there. And
What a heads-up play.
Really nice. Yeah, I think he maybe should have just killed the Legion commander, because I think the Legion was out of mana at that stage, but still worked out fine for them and gets a nice TP.
Mason picks up the Dragon Lance. Is that pretty standard on OD after Atos now, or is that still kind of rare?
I've seen it in a lot of pub games, and in pro games I've seen it
Dire's
less,
structures
but
are fortified.
considering that he's against a Lifestealer
Dire's
and
bottom
a Legion
tower
commander, I
is
think the
under
extra range
attack.
is nice. It's going to allow him to kite those heroes a bit more.
Yeah.
They're going to have to run into danger mode to try to fight him, so I think it's okay here.
Dire's bottom
Not a
tower
bad item.
quick for bot lane. Dust is popped. Not able to catch up. He does have the Lincoln Sphere. May have mentioned that, and he's working towards a Desolator of his own.
I think the biggest issue with the Weaver this game is that it's just clear that the hero doesn't do that much if you don't stomp your laning stage. He's not extremely fast to farm, he's fairly fast, but he's been forced to get this Lincolns due to the enemy having a counter. And then now he's getting his Deso, and then finally he's going to be ready to participate in the game. Like, it's not like Quake has been playing bad and choosing not to go places, just if there's been no fights, and he can't really contribute that much anyways. That's part of the reason there haven't been fights.
Yeah, Roshan's being attempted here by Stark. DC does know what's happening. Darkness is almost up, another 3 seconds. They might actually want to defend this. If he had half HP, I think he's going to be about as quick. He's going to position himself.
AOS
Is he waiting in the
X,
back
they can
wings?
fight.
Dazzle TPing out.
I don't think they saw them though, so I think they will not know the fight's happening. They even double ordered this, so they can definitely see wherever Stark is standing if they go for Roche area.
Trixie has Blade Mail now, and in all likelihood will be working on a BKB. I think that's the best choice. Unless you guys think he's going for Halberd or something like that, I doubt it.
Yeah, I think it's got to
on
be
Legion,
BKB.
Definitely. I completely. It's bad enough that the people he duels are going to get disrupted. At the very least, this will cover him against Night Stalker, Silence, and Mischance. They're going in.
Yep, Darkness is popped, Shadow Poison giving a lot of vision, and Arc is way too scared to go in. Attach itself to a couple heroes. A lot of Asos as well. Here comes the initiation. A lot of trouble. Taking quite a bit of damage. Look at the right click. Freaking OD is insane. He's going to attempt to TP out. It's not going to be enough. Oh, he barely gets out. That had to be less than 10 AP. Jesus.
He was great, dude.
That was really cocky.
He was
Shallow,
great, but you don't.
Shallow Grave would have
He
stayed.
was great the whole time?
He was.
I thought
100%.
it ran out the end. I guess not. Either way.
I don't think so.
Being
But,
attempted. Trixie's coming in.
Great
He's
banish.
going to be taken by Mason. Blow up the Razor. That is a lot of gold, but a beautiful initiation from Trixie. Is this going to be enough to get the damage, though? He barely gets it. Balance in a lot of trouble. Trying to TP out. Not enough damage to take him out, however, and, well,
Wow,
that's a 3
Mason
for
was
1
like the
with
MVP
Aegis.
there. That Astral was sick. That completely broke up the fight.
Yeah, it was a really good cast. And to say otherwise, though, they did have really good observer wards. So it's not like he instantly reacted. He saw him approaching. He anticipated the Astral, and then he did it. And that's the biggest thing that separates like any good player from an extremely good player is when you know they're about to come in and you have a little bit of vision. You cast it before they get there. So he anticipated that, and he banished him. They guaranteed the Aegis. And while they did get some dual damage, they completely won that fight really hard.
Pretty nice. Blink Dagger on Lifestealer. Whoa.
Oh.
And Deso up on Koipa
Yeah.
now.
I think he had to get it. The blink on Lifestealer. He's just too easily kited due to Rod of Atos and the disruption in the SD ulti. Good choice.
Tier 2 tower looks to be dead at the bot lane as instant Lincoln's activator. Bobo comes to stomp.
2 seconds for his.
Needs to run away though. Trixie pops the blade mail with the duel. Is this enough damage to get it? It is, and that's 52
That's a
damage
lot.
overall so far for Trixie. And the denied tower. Very nicely done by Stark.
He did a great job there. It was really a bold mistake, though. I think he was overly protective. Mason may die. He's gonna have a disruption, maybe. I think AUI could have disrupted the lifesteal. I think that would have been a better move there.
He's going to disrupt the Legion Commander now, and he's in a lot of trouble. He does have his ultimate, thanks to Agnum Scepter, but that TP was very ambitious.
Yeah,
So
that
with
was
the
not
blink,
gonna work.
open wounds on 1437. He's still pretty fast. Gonna have to be
Doesn't
open
have
wounds.
gem at least, but
And Tail.
another death. Oh man.
Wow, that's 4 dead for DC. Huge win there for Stark.
That's like at least 3 deaths that didn't need to happen. I think Boba did not need to die there. Shadow Demon probably. I mean, I kind of understood Shadow Demon shifting to save OD. I think maybe OD was out of position, but Night Stalker as well. That's at least 2 deaths that didn't need to happen.
This tier 2 tower is going to take a buttload of damage, if not just fall
Radiant's
to this
middle
Deflator,
tower is
Lifestealer,
under
and company. And with that, I think Razor's probably has AC done. Yeah, it's coming on the courier right now.
Yeah, this is getting really
That is a lot
topsy-turvy.
of-
Stark are really regaining momentum off that last fight.
I mean,
Well,
DC
about
still
halfway to his
has.
Ags.
They still have good synergy though. Like OD is going to be very good against Razor because Razor didn't build BKB. So despite him having an AC, all that pure damage is going to cut through it. DC just takes a normalized fight, and they don't feed kills like that. Then I think they're going to be in an okay.
Yeah. Trixie's up to 52 damage on the LC. He's doing okay. Just a recipe off the BKB now. And it looks like the other lens is completed for the Lion here. The long-range finger. From downtown.
I hope he gets Ags. I love Ags on this hero.
Yeah. One of my favorite Ags upgrades.
Although this game, it's always decent, but it's usually really good against like illusion-based heroes. To go along with his Mana Drain and Hex, the ultimate illusion killer.
It has
Lion.
such a good short cooldown at the end of the game too. Like if there was a Lion against that Naga in the first game that we saw today,
Yeah.
actually it's pretty effective.
They should have picked Lion and Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only.
Well, Boba's about 1,000 away now from finishing Ags for himself. Popped at the. It's an interesting thing because you want to use your Ags in a lot of, or you want to use your Stampede in a lot of cases as like an initiator, but with Ags you kind of want to hold on to when the most damage is being done by Stark. And it changes the way you think about Stampede as a spell. Sometimes you don't have a choice though.
I think the only time they really want to use it defensively, I think, is if somebody gets dueled. If somebody gets open wounded, like just the movement speed of Stampede is already going to solve the issue. So if they're using it straight to limit damage, it's if one of their important heroes gets dueled, then they can't cover him.
Right. I mean, I think it's a low enough cooldown that you can just use
Dire's top
it
tower
anyway. But the
is under
Ags,
attack. Radiant's bottom tower is falling.
1437
Ooh.
initiated. We have the
Nice
Astral
Astral.
imprisonment. Still gonna die in the end though. There's the Stampede. Axe initiation. Boogie just getting
Taking
blown
so
up
much
with the
life
finger
stealer.
of death. An early grave on Boogie. Nancy's taking a lot of right clicks and quick chi away. And that's a 2 for nothing right now as AUI is attempting to TP out and he will die. How sad is that to the eye of the storm?
Dire's
Seemed like that
does
life
clean up the
stealer
tiers.
did an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, that fight was won by Lifestealer killing the OD during BKB. There was no way that, well, maybe AUI could have ultied the Lifestealer a bit earlier, but the OD didn't move very much, and he couldn't disrupt the OD because of the BKB, so it was a bit of a limited reaction there.
Yeah. After the Astro, I was thinking, okay, Night Stalker's gonna get out, Bulba goes in, and I thought it was a great setup for the OD, and then he just, it's like almost a 3 or 4 shot, it felt like. The Lifestealer is way scarier than kind of realized. The Skull Basher, now BOT's online.
He hits really hard. If OD maybe shaves off the Dragon Lance and buys an armor item, that fight definitely would have been way different. He would have easily survived that initiation and walked away from the Lifestealer Acid Rage end.
I haven't really seen the Dragon Lance.
That's the problem with it. It's very item slot expensive. It's like a 2,000 gold item, and it doesn't really increase your damage on
Do you
OD.
think it would have made sense? Do you think it makes sense? I know it makes sense for like heroes that buy BKB, but what if you just buy BKB?
I think it's
instead
still
of
worth it
OD?
to break it and just sell back the quarterstaff. It's a pretty small sunk cost.
Yeah.
Frees up a slot.
Man, that sounds delicious. Whatever you're eating.
Sorry.
Is it a muffin?
It is not a muffin.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like Dragon Lance so much on OD. I think it delays your next items that could have kept him ahead of the Lifestealer. He needs a Shiva's Guard or a Hex is what he maybe a pulling. Something like that.
I mean, we talked about how, I mean, maybe this game's a little bit different, but how Astral Imprisonment is not the most important spell anymore. And that's the main benefit you get out of it, right?
Yeah.
And we have a 5-man Smoke Dark, and Lifestealer is inside Lion. That sounds good. There's the mana drain. He gets sheeped up and dueled and fingered and brought down. That is more damage for Trick. Plus 70 open wound and the immediate blink by Bulba. Did he? Stampede was used and they still killed him. That is a lot of damage.
He was stunned this way.
AUI is gonna get left behind. Nope, they can't stun him. Okay.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
No, what I'm saying is the 60% damage mitigation still able to go through that with that much damage.
Oh wow. I mean, the armor on Weaver is really not that high. He's only got 10 base armor right now with some of his stats, so
Radiant's top
they definitely
tower
can kill
is
that.
under attack.
I was just curious how they broke the Lincolns so fast.
Blink mana drain for the.
He hexed afterwards. I thought it takes like a half second for mana drain to break Link.
Oh, maybe.
It casts the animation, and then it starts draining, and then the Lincolns is gone. So I don't know. I thought it was so fast. I'd have to watch it. Oh, I think he used Finger maybe.
I know he used Finger at some point. I don't know if it was.
It's a lot faster than mana drain, I think, but I might be wrong. I'd have to watch the replay.
I know the mana drain for illusions it takes longer. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I'm just sure that Weaver would have been able to Sukuchi and get out of there if it was mana drain, unless there's a way to like make Lincoln go faster. Maybe I'm just wrong about how fast.
Alright, we're queuing the replay.
I thought he spiked after. I mean, it's a big kill either way. It was Earth Spike. Okay, so you Earth Spike the ground and then Hex on the same spot. That way, whichever one hits first will break the Lincolns. But I seem to remember he was Hex. Somebody else must have stunned him. I think he got dueled actually. So. Okay.
Yeah, the
Here we
target
go.
Earth Spike will take off Link.
Moke time.
And
go
Empty
towards the
now
Roche
has a Skull Basher up with the rest of the items. And
Oh, this
there
is
Ags
tense.
on Bulba? Yeah, there's Ags and Gem. So they're going to see everything coming. They're going to run
Deep
right
in, you
into
mean.
the Razor and Lifestealer. Koika on the lines, gets the Storm up. It's only going to hit Razor, if actually nothing. Razor pops the BKB. Stampede used defensively. They're attempting to run away. Actually, they're coming back in. Choices. There's 1437 getting initiated on. Trixie's gonna get the more damage for him. Right off the bat, it's 5v4.
Okay, they kill
Nemphy at half HP. Astral Empress. Boogie taking tons of damage. A beautiful standing eclipse. Gonna blow him up. Nemphy's Grave's gonna attempt to TP out, but there's a disruption. Trixie runs in with the blade mail activated. Nemphy popping that armlet of Mordigian. Can he get away? Bulba has blink in 1 second, but Nemphy.
Oh,
He gets hit by the
slow,
right click,
but
actually.
then Gemini
No
chases.
Oh, they see
TP.
him.
Blink in 6.
Bulba's got a force staff.
Yeah, but they don't have the light. They don't have the Night Stalker. Yeah, 'cause he is
Oh.
dead.
They
And
both
did
went
he
the
drop
same
the
way.
gem? Where's
They
the
needed
Yeah,
to
they lost
split.
him.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I
That's a
didn't
bummer.
My oh my.
Fun.
You can tell DC just were not confident in what they wanted to do there. They
No,
committed
no.
and then they ran out and then they kind of went back in.
It wasn't about confidence, it was about what happened. They tried to initiate on Razor, he popped his BKB, then they realized they can't damage him. So that means they're out of position, right? They need to get away from the Razor. So they popped Stampede, they all backed off, and then they read the situation a bit more and they said, okay, we're gonna be okay. Everything's pretty spread. They lost Night Stalker due to that, but it still allowed them to clean up okay. But they just really needed to kill the Lifestealer. The difference to that fight, if Shadow Demon had a Force Staff or a Ghost Scepter, I think they would have killed the Lifestealer there. Because they really need him to help kill and deal with the Lifestealer.
I see.
Can they kill this in time?
Yeah, I think they get this kill. Abyssal Blade now on Lifestealer. OD will sport brand new Aegis.
Weaver
There's
hits
no
really
gem
hard
now.
now, though. Weaver's starting to
Weaver-
become really relevant.
He's a full Daedalus.
Oh my. Oh my goodness. He needs a little HP now. What does he get? Does he need HP?
Do you go BKB at this point? Or hard?
There's not that many stuns. BKB is not a terrible idea, I think, but he could just get dueled. Oh,
He's gonna get DD. Can use this to full effect. This could turn the game a bit more.
They're getting smokes for that reason.
Oh, they're ready. This is dirty.
What happened with the stream, guys?
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
no.
Alright, apparently we were doing instant replay. You guys had to see the last 2 minutes over and over.
Did they catch the team fight or no?
It has the little live in the corner, so you can sort of see. But
Oh, no problem. That's all you guys need. You got this. Rip mobile viewers, though. You guys are screwed.
Mason picks up a Shiva's Guard, and their Koika picks up a
we go.
DD rune. They're gonna smoke right in the river. Very confident there's
Look at
there's
this
no
other
gem.
team. They spent so much
37.
time off their map waiting to do that DD smoking that the other team's like, huh, they've been missing for a while. But they can see them. They can initiate into this, actually.
Yeah, they could.
Like, because they have Night Stalker. If they get the stun off or something, they'd have to silence at the same time that Centaur goes in.
Oh my, Koika going in. Here's the hook stop initiation from Boba and a
Up the
Stampede.
cliffs.
They're like really freaking
Oh, no,
guard.
he's got
Used by OTB. He's getting blown up. Ace there, though. He'll be back very shortly. AUI gets one more purge before his inevitable death. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
This is
60
not good.
takes out another hero. That's 2 for
Oh,
nothing.
never mind.
Actually, 2 for 2 out of nowhere. Double kill for Mason. BKB popped. On the run now. Has an Astral Imprisonment for Razor if needed. He will use it. He's going to get Abyssal Bladed. Right click to tearing him a new 3 for 3. Koika forced to run away now. Wow.
definitely an awkward angle to initiate, but Mason dropped the hammer, got a double kill, kind of kept the fight alive to make it a 3 for 3. That was all OD doing that damage. He went in just a little too brave. Poor Owie, man. He went in and he just tanked that tier 3 tower in the mid lane the entire fight. I think it did more damage to him than the heroes.
He got one
Yeah, I
purge off,
believe
by the way. That
Just what they needed to do, I think, is they targeted 2 heroes. Bobo went on the line over here, and the Weaver went to go hit the Lifestealer. So they needed to coordinate a little bit. And they also, if they wanted to go for the line, what they should have done is just run up the cliff with the eggs. And then they just would have stomped the teamfight, I think. If they kill a line right at the start, prevent those disables from coming out, then things would have gone better.
You know, if they had picked Centaur a little bit more often, maybe they'd be more comfortable with the Ags upgrade. Like you said, like AUI, for example, ran right by the tower instead of going through. Oh, right? Positioning was a little bit
Yeah.
off there, I think. I mean, that's
Yeah,
something you
definitely.
forget about
Shoot.
with. I mean, when I think of Ags, on thing I think of is mitigation because it's obviously the main benefit, but terrain walking is pretty legit. Especially
Yeah, you just don't anticipate it. I think the best thing they could have done for that fight maybe was to run straight at the lifestealer maybe and silence him while they did a centaur stump. But then they have to worry about Grave, I guess. So I think ultimately Bulba made a good choice there because Dazzle's in the game. So it just didn't quite work out with them. They needed to run high ground faster. And the duel is just hurting Night Stalker too much. He gets dueled every fight and he can't deal with the right clicks from the Legion Commander.
Trixie did end up going for Halberd, but obviously after the BK items, quite good against OD, who his BKB is getting lower and lower. Right now.
Not just that, but he can also now do a blink duel on the Weaver by breaking Lincolns with Halberd.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was just thinking, what if they could get a second Lincolns to try and help the Night Stalker? But there's just so many ways to deal with the Lincolns. I don't know if that's going to be effective.
Yeah, I don't think it would be.
Well, you could potentially, I was going to say Lotus Orb, but Lotus Orb on duel, I don't know. How does that work? Do you get double damage?
Yes.
Yes.
Damn. Man.
It's high roller style, high risk,
You know,
high
it would be
reward.
an interesting pickup because it used to be the worst Ags in the game, but now I think it's quite picking up an Ags perhaps. Everybody and those two are invulnerable during that time, and it's a longer duration.
Illusion.
Yeah.
I don't know if they really. If he can like blade mail duel the OD when OD doesn't have BKB on, then. But it's not. It doesn't matter about damage, right? They can still disrupt and banish. I think it's irrelevant this game.
The Ags on. I think I would like to see it. The old one. Who picked it up? It was Bone 7. Because he could just never get a kill with his. He's just like,
did it work?
Yeah, it worked. Well, they were winning. He was the one struggling. The rest of his team was. That worked.
Well, it looks like Weaver's going for a Monkey King bar up next. I don't think this is Rapier territory. It's just too scary with the heroes they have.
Wow.
Easy duel.
Just glass cannon damage there. AUI gets blown up. And the damage counter.
He's getting there.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Buyback not available for AUI.
Ooh.
But they should be able to defend this for 45 seconds, I would think.
Can at least hold it off, but no Aegis. This could be a rocky fight. Look how fast they chunk down that tower. I don't know, 30 seconds is all of a sudden feeling kind of like an eternity here. TP back from the Weaver. They'll have to sacrifice the tier 3 tower, it looks like. Razor Illusion on the high ground just tanking it. Break the Lincolns, here we go. Abyssal landing, defensive Astral, that's good. Bulba, oh, he gets hit
really
before he
bad.
can
He needs
hook stop.
disruption or force.
This is bad news, Bears, they don't have it. Oh, Bulba's dead. No buyback, down for 70.
My god, he had a 10-second BKB as well. He just didn't anticipate the Hex coming that fast. He didn't want to fully engage there.
Oh, no.
I think lose this Rax.
Almost
Probably.
certainly.
I mean, without Centaur, that's...
They're not sure if Centaur has a buyback or not.
Oh,
so being a little bit
just
cautious.
Trixie gets to the last second. AUI is going to get blown up thanks to Nemphy. Does get a couple of the purges off though. But that's 3 dead. The buyback now for Koikwa.
Yes,
Is a ton of damage, but not much HP. Mason very low. Force back to as well. 1437 destroyed as well. And this is an easy round.
Could be 2 now at this point. 3 heroes dead, none of them with buyback. OD Weaver. 4. This is going to be tough. They do big damage, but so do Stark.
Yeah, with all this minus armor, these belt. Oh,
It's
they're
really
playing a
dangerous
little
to
safe.
engage that. They probably just should have waited until they were all up, but Centaur is still dead for so long.
Yeah. I think they should have just, they should just given up the racks because they did anyway. Fought 4v5.
Radiant's
Yeah.
middle barracks are under
Stark are
attack.
being very cautious here, though. Just slow chipping at the melee barracks.
Yeah, they're gonna get it. That's 2 racks in favor of Stark.
Has fallen.
You can maybe kill him.
Oh! That last
Jeez,
gem it
That was
is.
very ambitious. Bulba, stampeding. No Force F, no blink for a while though, and Trixie has 5 seconds. Koikwa just needs to get
They
one
might be able
right
to
click
break
on
it.
him,
Oh, there it is.
and he's
Beautiful.
dead.
Koik's still playing it safe.
He missed the.
Dude, you gotta be careful. If he'd like double critted there, he just could have killed himself.
Yeah.
Even
That's
if
true.
even if he doesn't have that much HP, the crits will do like full damage no matter how low his HP is.
That's pretty scary.
And a full butterfly now. He had the Talisman of Evasion before, butterfly and Razor, so
Great.
MKB
items.
making much more sense. Another double damage though.
Double damage!
Do anything with it.
I mean, they got to force buybacks at least. They're behind. They need to force some advantage.
Look at the gold net worth. That was a huge dip in that last. Getting it 1 or 2 pickoffs really made a difference there for Stark. Koikwa was the
Buyback's
double
everywhere.
damage. 30 seconds on buyback here. There's one.
I will outsmart them.
Do they
Light
want the
Stealer
other?
has his.
Alright, well, Weaver used time lapse fight now.
He was scared. Like, they already bought back. There's a chance that Lion goes in there, and if it led to a duel, they lose the fight. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, a little bit of time left on this double damage, but they'll just back out.
And their base is slowly getting ravaged now. The huts, if you will, otherwise known as building.
Moonwells.
Oh, yeah, those ones are moonwells, I guess, huh? There's huts and moonwells, right?
Ziggurat.
No, Ziggurat is the other.
The
Yeah,
dire, yeah.
Like they're not all moonwell, right? There's a combination of the huts and moonwells.
No, they're all called moonwells, I think.
Really?
With the exception of the special buildings, like the armory and stuff, or whatever the heck they're called.
Huh. What am I thinking of with huts?
Probably Warcraft 3, maybe.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Or some shit.
Perhaps. AY closing in on his force staff. Quite
He
close,
really
only a
needed
couple hundred
that,
away.
I think, all game.
Yeah.
I think AUI maybe sacrificed a bit too much. He was the one to buy the gem that he gave to Night Stalker, and that was good, but then they lost every fight afterwards, so AUI's farm has been really limited. If he had a force staff, I really feel like they could have saved a lot of lives over the course of the game.
And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have not noticed any real effect from the Ags on Shadow Demon, which has been disappointing.
But that's because he's not able to stay alive. The enemy team goes on him and they just kill him. He can't force himself away.
Yeah.
Their BKB, he either disrupts himself and waits 2.5 seconds before he actually dies.
I mean, I think even if
You
he has
know?
a force step, he dies to life in that instant. Right, here we have the initiation on the 1437. Pretty sure
They let
DC
him go.
just has to let him go. And AUI
See?
literally
Like, that's what
got by
happens.
Nempi. God. He's gonna TP mid lane and just push on down.
Just does so much damage. Daedalus, Deso, Armlet, Abyssal. So strong.
Mason slowly but surely working toward. Actually, he's very close to a hex, but I'm not sure how much it's at this point. 30 seconds on the deck,
Radiant's middle barracks
3v5
are
for the
under
next 30, and I think in that time they can get full racks here at top, especially with no fortification.
Radiant's top tower.
They just have such good cores. They deal with what EC has so well. Oh, going back in.
Nempi playing a little bit safe. There's the defensive speed. He gets the range racks. Mason pops Shiva's guard. Takes an impale for his trouble. Can ignore him. Alright, there's the static link, and yeah, this is mega creeps. Although there's a fortification, it just came off cooldown. Bulba with the stampede, trying to find a kill on Boogie, who pops the BKB. Quick sheeped up. How little damage they do in the end. Bulba misses his hoof stomp, and that is mega creeps. Trixie dueling the poor OD. He's not gonna get the full damage though. Grave goes off, saving Trixie's life. Gonna get the kill thanks to overwhelming odds. They 1 for nothing. Make it a 1 for 1, but it doesn't matter because Mega Creeps Dark, I really don't think DC can push. Although they can try to their heart's content. Boogie, still half HP, and he's so freaking tanky.
Oh, he's getting
Avoid-
slowed and he's still so fast.
Yeah, seriously. Find the kill on
Oh, that's
Razor.
damage.
MKB coming in pretty big there, but how much
that's-
does it really
that's
matter
Megas,
when you use
man.
Drax?
I mean, I think the Legion used buyback before, so that's a dieback technically, but they have to win the game now, and they're just clearly not matching up as well. The physical damage output of Stark in combination with the duel and the line is just a little bit too scary for initiations.
Oh, they're gonna go for one last push down mid.
No
Razor
buyback on the
buyback.
LC. They will have a little bit of an advantage here. AUI, no way to get into the fight quickly, so he's just going to be on defense duty.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And they go for Roche. That's smart, because they're not going to be able to win that fight, so at least take Roche instead. It's safer. The enemy team has to run there. They only have 4.
Aegis cheese. Not
Yeah,
bad
they
to
could-
have for your final stand.
They might still. No, they'll be able to get it pretty easy. Not looking to defend that is Stark. I mean, that would actually be a pretty big risk to take when you just bought back on a bunch of heroes.
Yeah.
Nempi is sick blotted. Technically get rid of his blink dagger, but it's worked so freaking well for him. I doubt that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Maybe just a
Moon
moon
Shard as
shard.
well, but he actually does kind of need Moon Shard. He's really lacking attack speed, but luckily Rage gives him 80. So it'll work.
God. Casual click kill on centaurs, no big deal.
Yeah.
It'd be scary if like some little creature this small could actually just kill a giant centaur like that just by slapping him once. They just die.
But it's look how many teeth he has, though. You just take a chunk of meat out of his leg and the centaur's crippled.
You know, I miss Dota 1 where Lifestealer looked like a creep.
Just a little tiny baby ghoul in the back.
Yeah,
Aura.
love that. And then the Ogre Magi hiding in the camp. That's one of the classic clips.
Yeah.
Actually looked at that somewhat recently. I I thought it was gonna be like 1 million views. It's not even close. I was shocked. Yeah, that's got to be like the best clip of all time for Dota.
Wait, which one?
The one where Ogre Magi's hiding in a camp because he looks exactly like an ogre.
Oh,
He
yeah,
killed the
okay.
ogre, and then at nighttime the creeps were asleep, so he stood next to it, and then waited for somebody to come, and then he killed them. Pretty funny.
Brilliant.
It's bloody brilliant.
So how does it feel to watch your team lose right now?
Yeah, they're getting wrecked pretty good here, I tell you what. But I'm feeling great because this is Captain's Draft. Plus, they picked Centaur. They failed with it, but they picked Centaur. That's thought that matters. When you're a
It's just
team
hard to
owner,
initiate
there's
with it,
moral
man.
victories in life.
They know
just-
when the owner's watching and casting, so yeah, you gotta pander to the audience.
I just feel like Hoof Stomp is really hard to land right now. You know, so many people have BKBs. Everybody's reaction times are getting better. If you don't have that setup stun, and they've got a lifesteal or a jug, like how do you get that stun off?
Yeah, I mean, their laning stage was just garbage. That snowballed. I mean, lifesteal is huge. Like, when you're like 12 minutes in the game and both the support and carry are higher level than your off lane and carry support, it's like by that much. It was like over 2 levels. Come back, I think.
A lot of that comes down to it being Captain's Draft. You can't necessarily get the heroes that you know will solve those problems. They were forced to put a Weaver mid, for God's sake. There's no way they'd do that if it wasn't Captain's Draft, you know?
How dare you? That's the thing.
I mean, it really weakened them. They had to play freaking Weaver mid, man. It worked fine. It passively farmed, but it didn't contribute to the ganks.
I remember the pick order. Was OD picked before or after Razor?
I believe they
Razor
were
was
both
second
second picks.
Yeah.
Bulba? Dead, son.
Wow, he killed Centaur that easy.
No buyback.
It's amazing.
Man.
And the return did about damage, maybe. Actually, I have no idea how much damage.
Good stuff. It did none because he was raged the entire time.
No,
That
that
probably
goes
did a
through.
lot. This feast.
Oh, it
probably
goes
did
through.
insane
Never mind.
damage.
Piece is insane.
Every hit did like
The anti-strength
75,
hero.
100 damage. Yeah.
Lifestealer just destroys every strength hero under the sun.
It's initiation.
And
Oh,
we have
God.
the duel on OD. Don't think there's the and that should
No
do it, ladies
buyback.
and gentlemen. Best of 3, starting off with this game 1 loss
Man.
by DC. Start looking pretty good, I have to say.
Both of our game 1s today in each series were kind of a long, okay, barracks are down, but game's not over. This one not nearly as drawn out, but we'll see the final stand here as the Aegis gets utilized. Old Weaver gets put down. Koikfoot comes back up. Stun. Hex. Oh, golly. He's headed for the well. He's on his way back. Do they have the damage to finish him off? The Lincolns get broken, and oh, mama. Nemphy from 50 to 0. One little womp from the Ghoul will finish him off and demoralize them into the GG. 31 to 20. It's Stark coming out big.
Get wrecked, DC. That's why they call him digital trash. Eh?
I thought you were gonna say a different C word. But...
No, digital sea trash, coined by the one and only Mason, I believe, who is playing for
Great,
DC in this game. How ironic it is, Ren.
What the hell is C trash? Oh, SEA? Is that what? Is that his?
No. It was literally just the letter C.
Just
Not even
really
a pun.
not creative.
It was
It's
so
not-
bad, it's good, and it's my favorite one that any.
Yeah, that one's